Hey man, you remember that time we was at Cass Tech? It probably was senior year, right? And for those out there who don't know, Cass Tech is the high school that we went to, so it was known to be like one of the top public high schools academically, right? And me and Charles, we graduated together. We had went there from ninth grade all the way throughout 12th grade. But this one particular day, we all got in the car, skipped school because some Jordans was coming out.
I think I know a story. I think I know a story you about to tell, bro.
Some Jordans was coming out, bro. And I think Will Love, Derek, you might have been in his car too, right? Or were you in my car?
No, we was behind you. No, cause you cause I don't want to blow the story. I don't want to take your thunder. Cause
you gonna remember?
I remember. I remember. I know a story.
I'm just trying to figure out was you in the car that got hit? Or
I think I was in the car that got hit.
Okay, cause me, Sam, Twine, I think we was in my car. I had like this 1986 Cutlass Sierra or Cutlass Supreme actually.
Okay.
And Will Love had a much better car than me, man. So we coming off the ramp. We going to Northland. And we coming off the ramp, off the lodge. Next thing you know, I'm trying to hit the brake, but I can't. My brake line completely failed.
That's what happened?
Yeah, okay. Completely failed. So I'm trying to press the brake and Sam like, nigga, what's going on? Stop. And I'm like, I can't stop.
Right.
Anyway, bam.
Right.
Hit the back of Derek's car. We all get out like, what the hell going on here?
Back of Will car, right?
Back of Will Love car. His car didn't have that much damage. Mine did, but we still went to go get them J's.
But you know what, though? I remember though, like I don't think we was just skipping school, bro. Yeah. I don't even think no Jordans was out, or I don't know if it was Jordans about to drop, or
we was just skipping school.
I think we were just out hanging out, bro.
I'm mixing too. That's how much we skipped. Where I'm mixing stories together. Yeah. Because
whenever we would skip school to go get the J's, we would go, or if some Jordans was finna drop, I know me and Rick, we would hit the Foot Locker on what was that, Woodward or Jefferson. Yeah. It was run like not too far from our school, so we would kind of go up there, but yeah, I think that day we were just on some like, let's just go hang, fuck school kind of shit.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was.
We just and got into an accident, hit each other because we was 2 cars deep.
Yeah, we was 2 cars deep, man. But I'm glad no fights broke out, man. Everybody forgave everybody, and that was a good thing.
Yeah, we still went because we went more and still kind of went. I don't know if you ended up. I think you may have. Did you end up coming into the mall? Cause I know, cause I think, we all still went.
It ain't make no sense. And my car was already fucked. It was already messed up, so I didn't care. It was just another ding amongst many. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I guess my question too, man, for you, the first one is that what's the first house you remember living in Detroit? Because you were born and raised here, right? In Detroit, Michigan. So what's the first house you remember?
I remember living on Stahalin. And it's crazy because you're an East Side cat, I'm a West Side cat. So when I say Stahalin, you probably like, okay, I don't know what the hell, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're from the West Side though, you probably familiar with Stahalin. They say it's just your typical, what they call like side streets or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I remember living there for a short period of time. I don't really have a lot of memories. I do remember a bird getting into our house one time. I don't know, but it's weird because I need to double back and ask my parents, my mom especially, about that, because I don't know if that's something, how those memories that's like way back there, you don't know if you making it up or was it a dream or because it feel like that. But I'm not really sure. I think I remember a bird getting in the house one time, and my mom, I don't know if that's what sparked the fear. No, because basically, my mom has like a phobia of birds, right? A phobia, like an irrational fear.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what sparked it or if it was something she always had, but I just remember us having to leave, go across the street to the neighbor's house until my pops or whatever and his boys can go in there and like trap the bird or get it out or something. I don't know, dog. But I kind of remember that. But like I do remember staying on Stahalin, and then from there we moved from Stahalin to Fielding, which was near 7 Mile and Evergreen.
Okay, so
now that's more of kind of like really what I really remember.
So, and your mom and dad, they were married too, right? When you were younger.
Yeah.
At what point did they get divorced?
I want to say when I was about 4. It's kind of like the story I always tell people. I don't know the exact age. I just remember my dad kind of being in and out. You know what I mean? Like, I guess, they was probably having some problems. Well, I mean, I knew they was having problems because I could see, I could hear the arguing and the fighting, and I could see it.
And you can remember that even at 4.
Yeah. That stuff it stick with you. You know what I'm saying? It's I can see how it could traumatize. You know what I'm saying? Some people going through that. But yeah, I remember. And I just remember my dad, like, it was kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, one minute he there, and then one minute he staying with he had a boy named Charlie, ironically. And I just remember him being there, and then he would be over his cousin's house, and I would have to go and, like, see him and, like, spend time with him outside the house. I couldn't figure out why you ain't at home. You know what I mean? And then sometimes he would be there, and he would be there for, a good amount of time.
Yeah.
And then, shoot, man, like I say, I don't know, man. It was never a sit down, like, hey, at least I don't remember one where it was like, hey, this ain't working out, mom and dad, we still love you. It's just that such and such. I don't ever remember that. I just looked up and he was just gone.
And the thing is that even when I met you, he was present.
Yeah.
Like, you would go over there, I'm sure, on the weekends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. What are some of the things that you think you learned or gained from your mom? Like, some of the strengths that you have that came from this parent, mom and dad.
It's crazy, man. That's a real good question. When it comes to my mom, bro, I mean, of course, just sitting back and sort of watching her kind of sacrifice, and just like, it's crazy, man, because, we hear all the time about just, growing up in a single parent household and how that really does, hinder a person's chances. Or, when you look at the stats, it's one thing that, people who end up in the system, as they say, or whatever, there's always seems to be this common thread, which is fatherlessness, right? And even though my father was present, in my life, you know what I mean? I just remember, it was like maybe like every week, every couple weeks, whenever. I just always remember them friend of the court checks, in the mail. I didn't really understand what friend of the court was, but I just knew that meant that it was some kind of benefit, some kind of money was coming. I just knew it was something that my mom always sort of like counted on. And like you said, my father was present in my life, but just not being in the home every day, that's just, anyone who's experienced that, they just know that's just,
it's not the same.
That's not the way it's supposed to be. It's just not. So going back to your question more specifically, it's just that, I kind of learned almost how to be, responsible, not so much from watching her, but just seeing as how I sort of had no choice in the matter, because I had to do it. I had to do what I had to do because things needed to get done, and things was put on my shoulders at an age where I look at my kids today and I'm like, ain't no way in hell I let you do something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, my kids, my oldest that's still living with me, she's 12 and she's still asking for a key to the house, and I'm like, you need to show me. You know what I mean? I'm still kind of hesitant to
show
pull
me
the
you
trigger
responsible.
on that. Yeah. I had my own key. Shoot, man, when I was 6, 7 years old, I had a key to the house. You know what I'm saying? Because I would. And it's ill, man, when I think about it, bro, because even like going to elementary school, man, sometimes when we didn't feel like catching the bus, we would all just walk home in packs, you know what I'm saying? And that was just like fun. Like, y'all want to walk today? If the weather was nice, it's Michigan, so you don't get too much nice weather during the school years.
Yeah.
But in the beginning of the year and towards the end, oh man, we gonna walk. And I think, bro, like where we walked from all the way to my house, you know what I mean? And I'm talking like 7, 8, 9 years old, bro, walking. This Detroit.
Yeah.
And my mother being like, whatever, just, have your ass at home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So it's almost like not having your dad there present forced you to have to grow up a little quicker than maybe you would have wanted to. Yeah.
I swear, I remember, man, because it was weird because my elementary school, we started late. I remember a lot of other elementary schools started around 8, 8:30. We didn't start school till like 9:30.
Damn.
And I remember having to get up, bro, to catch the bus. And the bus stop was like 3 houses. Literally, it was like right there on the corner, like 3 houses away from my house. And I used to, wake myself up. In the morning, I had an alarm clock because my mom would have to leave before I had to be up for school because she had to be at work at a certain time.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I used to wake myself up. You know what I'm saying? And on days when I used to get up at like 9 or something like that, something crazy. But I remember waking up, setting my alarm clock a half an hour earlier. If I've had the energy to get up a half an hour earlier because I wanted to watch Power Rangers. That's what I remember.
Which one was your favorite one?
Come
was
on,
it
bro? Mighty Morphin Power. I don't know nothing else, bro.
I'm talking about the colors.
Oh, the color. Oh, the Red Ranger,
the red.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man, Jason, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I remember, bro. Watching Power Rangers and getting up. And sometimes, like I said, I'll set the alarm at 8:30. I wouldn't get up because I'd be so tired.
Yeah.
Go back to sleep. But
So
man,
responsibility that came from, you would say, your mom.
Like what you would want to see from what you would typically see from your father. That's what you saw in your mom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I didn't think it was odd. I didn't think it was strange, until I started getting older. And then when I started to mature and when, that puberty, that shit start kicking in, and you love your mother is your mother, but still, that male instinct is kicking in. And so that there can only be one, right? Like the Highlander, there can only be one alpha in this house.
Yep.
And you kind of had that, that hierarchy there, right? That kind of like your mother over child, but you start to come into conflict with your mother.
Yeah.
Because your natural instincts tells you to subdue the female.
Yeah. And that's almost a consequence of not having a male presence in the house. Constantly. I got you.
Yep. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Because now she has to kind of play the role of both, a mother and father. And so when when as young boys, when we start to mature, it's like, Mom, you in my lane. But your mother's looking at you like, you're still her underling because you're my child. But it's like, but I'm becoming a man. And you're acting like a man. And
so that's where you clash and butt heads.
That's okay. I mean, and just like I say, full disclosure, that's why me and my mother don't have the best of relationships to this day. And I love her. I love my mother. I mean, she is awesome.
But she didn't have the luxury of actually being a mother, of kind of like operating in her divine femininity.
That's right.
So it kind of fractured, or it had an impact on the relationship, and that's the importance of having like a man in the house.
That's right. And I'm sitting back, and I'm like lost lunch. I'm trying to figure out while I'm having these feelings. I'm trying to figure out what's going on, and I don't know. And there's nobody there to kind of like tell me. You know what I mean? And my mother and father having whatever issues that they had, and I learned as I got older. You start learning all the stories, and because you stay in a child's place. But once you get older, me and my mother never talked to me about anything. But once I started getting older, and then when me and my mother were having these issues, in my teenage years and in my early 20s, I went and sought the counsel of my father more.
Wow. Yeah.
And then when he started to notice, okay, son, you're becoming a man now. It's time for me to start telling you some of the things that I couldn't tell you when you were younger.
Yeah, because you can understand it better now.
You know, man. And he started to kind of, see, okay, here's the problems that I had with your mother. I see you are having the similar problems with your mother, and for the same reasons. So that's where the bond with me and my father really, really began to intensify. Because I'm just like,
y'all can relate to each other
now. It's like we got to deal with this woman.
Yeah. But that was dope that he waited till that time, because had he done it earlier, that could have been bad too.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question too, right? Because you got the Cass Tech, and you couldn't just get there by being some dummy who didn't take school seriously. Did you always take school seriously on your own, or like did your parents or your mother have to stay on you about homework? You seem like you was just self-motivated.
I just did it, man. I mean, it came easy. You know what I mean? School was just, at least from kindergarten to 8th grade, high school was a totally different story, but school was just, I don't know, I just to me, it's just easy.
Came easy
It
to
just
you.
came easy.
I can see why. I can definitely see why. So okay, now let me ask you this, right? You get to school, me and you started getting close probably around like end of sophomore year, junior year, right? Going into junior year. Right. You are in a relationship with a great young woman, won't mention the name, and eventually you ended up getting her pregnant, right? Was that in high school?
Nah, that was freshman year of college.
Freshman year of college.
Yeah.
And you were going to college where?
Saginaw Valley State.
Saginaw Valley State, right? So what's going through your mind at this point, being a 19-year-old dude, knowing that, damn, I just got somebody pregnant?
So, well, you know, the thing that kind of made it a little, you know, easier to kind of become like resigned to my fate because of the feelings that I have for her, right?
Yeah.
You know, when you're young, you know, you don't know what you don't know, as they say, right? So I don't know how difficult life really is. I really don't. And I'm thinking that, you know, the love that we have is gonna just, you know, we're gonna get through.
Last forever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm thinking everything is gonna last forever. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be great. Yeah, this is happening a little bit sooner than we anticipated, but everything is going to be great. And you know, she, on the flip side, I mean, she's having she's you know, you can imagine, right?
Yeah.
So I can't be going to pieces, you know what I mean? Even though I'm kind of scared, I'm kind of nervous too, you know, but I can't show it, you see, because she freaking out, you know what I mean? We didn't tell our parents until she was like 6 months. That's when she was walking around in sweatshirts and trying to hide it, you know what I mean?
6 months?
Mm-hmm.
So y'all had already decided we having this thing.
Well, you know, man, at that age, bro, you know, when you so young, you know, it's like I mean, maybe there were resources out there. I'm sure there were, but you don't know where.
You don't know how to navigate that space.
You don't know how to navigate.
And if you're trying to keep it a secret, then right, you kind of out there on the island by yourself.
Yeah, and you don't really know who to. You know, it take courage to even open your mouth up to tell somebody what you know what you're going through. You know what I mean? So we was just like, all right.
But I remember, man, like I always tell Bridget, you were one of the first, like I learned my first lesson in terms of, or one of my first lessons in terms of how to be a father from you, because you literally were in school. And I would come home. I was at University of Michigan up in Ann Arbor at the time, and I would come home and visit you like every time I came back because I knew you would have something for me, right? From an intellectual standpoint. And then I would see you typing a paper with one hand while you holding Mallory in the other hand. And I'm like, how the hell is this dude 19, 20? But he's still, like, you still, you know, knew the importance of being there, of trying your best to juggle the two, man, at such a young age.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
But that had a lot to do with, I'm sure, your upbringing, too, you know?
Yeah.
That responsibility, knowing that, hey, no matter what, I got to step up to the plate.
Yeah, man. And, you know, it wasn't just me, you know, it wasn't just me and her, you know, me and her mother. You know, we had
a village.
We had a village. We had a support system, you know, that really, really came through for us, you know what I mean? Because if not for that, you know, ain't no telling where I would be or, you know, where she would be. And we're both, you know, pretty happy, you know, successful. I don't, of course, you know, my oldest daughter, she's pretty much an adult now. She's going into adulthood, just graduated from high school last year.
Dang, God, we old.
Right.
Oh,
so
yeah.
So, you know, there's not really, you know, much reason for us to talk, you know, and considering what some of the things that transpired throughout our relationship, you know what I'm saying? She has every reason in the world to hate me.
Wait, hold on. So you up here taking accountability for?
Wait, damn, man. You know, head shit, bro. That's the way it works.
Yeah.
You know, if you, I don't mean to get heavy too fast.
No,
but,
go ahead.
You know, I mean, that's what the entire tale of Genesis outlines. It's about what happens when hierarchy gets inverted. You know, because you know, male and female, or you know, man and woman. You know, we are above the animals that, you know, crawl about on four legs. And so we were made in the likeness. And so we can acknowledge the existence and the divinity of our Creator, just on the basis of what God intended us to be and how and what He created us to be, and for what purpose.
Damn.
You know, and
Yeah.
so when the beast and in this case the serpent tempted Eve, and then Eve tempted, you know, because we report up, and in this case
So Eve
flipped
felt
around.
she felt susceptible to the serpent, and then Adam felt susceptible to her.
Yep.
Yeah.
But when God, you know, yeah, there was a punishment. You know what I mean? For, you know, the serpent had to. He was what was it? You know, he was given the curse of having to sort of crawl, and the woman was, you know, pain and childbirth and everything else. But then there was this ongoing kind of dialogue between, you know, Adam and God, and it was really, you know, his sort of responsibility to sort of hold everything together, and he didn't do what he was supposed to do, right, as the head, and so it falls on him.
Damn. Okay, so again, you know, you already, and for people that don't know, like Chuck was the person who encouraged me to start taking a more heuristic approach to not only history but to topical things as well. So he was the guy who influenced me, but I didn't know this because back in high school, he was like one of the niggas. And, you know, he was using street vernacular. He was dressing as fly as he is today. And I didn't know. And literally when we got to college and I would come back home to visit you, I'm seeing books, spread thick ass books, encyclopedias spread across the table. And I'm seeing stuff, autobiography of Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, Black liberation teachings, and I'm also seeing a little bit of David Icke. God rest his soul. I think he passed away earlier this year, right?
Or Jordan Maxwell passed away recently.
So David Icke still living.
I think David Icke. Last time I checked, because he was just on Alex Jones's show not too long ago. So
my bad, David Icke. Listen, if you out there, man, my bad, brother. You know what I'm saying? So David Icke, right? And he's, I think, somewhat of a devout conspiracy theorist. The brilliant guy, by the way.
I
but
guess that's what they would call him.
Yeah, but you were studying all of this stuff, so that's kind of where you started, right?
Right, Bill Cooper, yeah.
It was the Black liberation conspiracy theory and reptilian race, these sorts of things. Yeah. And when did you first learn that you had a fascination with complex literary works? Like, when did you first come into that, and why the hell did I find out that late?
Wow, probably, man. Probably, you know, in my teenage years. I'm gonna tell you a story. So, so one time, my boy Rick, who we also went to high school with, I think he may have been away in Florida at this time, doing his thing with schooling or whatever. And his brother, who, you know, rest in peace, twin.
Oh man, yeah.
Brent, he was murdered in Chicago a couple of weeks ago. Wow. It's crazy, man, because he was 37. I think he would have been 38 later on this year. You know, and I'm 38. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I'm thinking in my mind, bro, I'm past all that. You know what I mean? Because he was, man, cat ran up on him, bro, snuffed him out. You know what I'm saying? Shot him in the head.
In Chicago?
Yeah, in Chicago, bro. Pulled up to a stoplight or whatever intersection. Guy was kind of waiting for him. I ain't, of course, I don't want to
speak on it.
Speak or see the footage or whatever, but we just hearing word from the detective. Turns out everything played out, you know what I'm saying? But it looked like it was a hit or whatever, you know, but I'm just saying all that to say, you know, you think at 38, 37, those are the type of things you don't have to worry about at that age, because who's trying to pretty much assassinate you at 37, but ain't no telling what's going on out there. Only reason why I bring all that up is because he was with me on this day. And Brent and Rick's father, you know, they have the same father. He had, I don't know exactly what the relationship was, but he had a relationship with this woman named Miss Shirley.
Okay.
And I learned a lot from Brent, you know, and, you know, he would tell me, you know, we would sit down and we would talk, and he would, you know, telling me all this stuff about, and he would talk to me about Marcus Garvey and, you know, Noble Drew Ali and Elijah Muhammad and all this stuff. And so me and him, man, I would just go over his crib. Well, like I say, he would come to visit because, you know, he lives in Chicago. He would come to Detroit to visit. So this one particular summer, man, we was kicking it hard, kicking it heavy. And his dad was like, man, I want y'all to meet, and he, knew the type of conversation stuff stuff we would talk about. So he's like, man, I'm gonna run you over here to this lady, and her name is Shirley. I want y'all to talk to her. And I don't know, I just remember in my head, I swear we went over there one time, and if she's still alive, if I were to see her, I don't even know if I would recognize her. But in my mind, memory-wise, like I think I just kind of she was kind of giving me Angela Davis type vibes.
Yeah.
And I just remember she had this big wall, this big ass, this bookshelf, just books. And she was talking to us, telling us little stuff. We wasn't there long, and she was just like, "All right, if y'all want to borrow something, y'all want to go ahead." She was like, "Take what you want," and. I remember knowing. I remember in my mind knowing at the time, like, this is not for you to keep, but just take it and read it, get what you need to get from it, and then bring it back. Man, I was like 20 years ago, so I still got them books, and it's crazy because, just one of those things. You just borrow something, you don't intend to keep it, but you just kind of they ain't saying nothing. I ain't saying nothing. I don't even know how to get in touch with it. Honestly, I could reach out to Rick and Brent Pops and be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Big Derek, man, you still talk to Miss Shirley, man. Tell her I still got her book. And it's funny because, like,
Miss Shirley probably over there, like, you can't get niggas nothing.
Look. So after a year or two, because she would say something, because Rick and Brett Pops, he gonna give it to you. He gonna shoot the shit with you. So he telling us like, Miss Shirley said she on you and Brett ass about her books, man. She want her motherfucking books. That's some bullshit. And I'm like, So I remember, like I say, I got what was it? The Rebirth of African Civilization from Chancellor Williams, the Opinions and Philosophies of Marcus Garvey. I remember I got this big book from her called Message in a Bottle. It was about how the malt liquor industry was used as a, it was like, a conspiracy to kind of, destroy the black man or whatever. And it dealt with, and it went into the occult and kind of like the esoteric meaning behind the names, the brands on the bottles and the symbols and stuff, like the Colt 45, like the Colt and the symbol, and the number 45 having all of this occult significance, or whatever. And so I remember I got that. I mean, what else did I get? I got what was it? 40 Years to Make a Negro. The something about the falsification of African consciousness by Amos Wilson. And all these books, from Miss Shirley. And like I said, I don't know, that kind of like really, that was like the first. I mean, I already kind of had this intellectual curiosity, but that kind of was the first time where somebody actually like gave me something that I was like, okay, I'm interested in this. I'm going to read this. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. But
And then right, you're in Saginaw at school. There was an incident that happened, if you don't mind me speaking about it, where you were at a town hall meeting, right? And mind you, all of the books that you just talked about, you still wholeheartedly believing in all of this ideology, right? At this meeting, they asked you to take your hat off and you wouldn't.
I wouldn't. Yep.
So can you explain what was going on in your mind at that particular time? Because you were arrested.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was arrested, charged with obstruction type of assault, resisting, all this stuff.
So how did that ideology, because I'm sure it has something to do with it.
That was the it. That they had something to do with it. That was the it. So let me back up for a second, because I got to speak on this too. Just like for me and, my personality and the type of person that I am, I always had this, not just like an intellectual curiosity, but sort of like a, like a why, you know what I mean? Like, things like, unfairness or injustice and all that shit. Like, that bothers people. They don't like being treated unfairly, or they see things that are unfair. But for some people, it's an obsession, right? It's something more than just, oh, that's not right, or whatever, get over it, move on. For some people, it's like, no, I gotta figure out why this is happening. And it reminds me, I have to tell the story, and I make reference to it often because I talk about Thomas Sowell, and when Thomas Sowell talks about how he was a Marxist because sort of like the same reasons why I had a rebellious attitude, because he, like anyone else, can see with the physical eye the difference when you when you're in Detroit and when you travel north of 8 Mile. The further you go, things start to look a little different. You can see it. And so the question is, well, what's going on here? And he says that the people who hold the Marxist worldview were the only ones there giving the answers.
Wow.
And so he automatically believed that they were telling the truth because he had no alternative. But he just wanted to know and understand. So that was kind of like me. It's just like, well, we got to get to the bottom of what's going on here, because this in my mind, it's like, it's not so much that, well, this can't be right. Because once you start to know and understand, then you ask the question, well, who's to say that, this is not fair, this isn't the way it should be? Maybe it's the way it should be. But you, as an observer who's affected by this, you're saying that, no, this can't be fair because it makes me feel. So I don't like the way it makes me feel when I see this. You know what I mean? And so instead of just saying, you know what, fuck it, I give up, I'm in the street, you know what I mean? I'm out here just trying to, I'm like, whatever, you know what I mean? Come being a statistic, another tragic story. Speaking of going all the way back to my parents, that's the only thing that really, really kept me, you know what I'm saying, from either being in prison or being dead. Because I always said in the back of my mind, bro, that I couldn't imagine disappointing my parents, my mother or my father. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was a time in my life where I cared less about my life than I know they did. You know what I mean? And that's what kind of kept me going through the motions. Because I knew it would upset my mother if I let her down. I knew it would upset my father if I let them down.
You had two parents who cared.
Because I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, nigga, whatever. So instead of like doing that, I said, you know what? I'm going to figure out the politics behind this shit. Because I'm going to have a rationale. I'm going to have a justification. I can fuck around and be like a knucklehead, but when it's all said and done, I'm going to be a smart one. Because I'm going to be able to tell motherfuckers, I'm going to be able to explain why all this dysfunction, all this street shit is going on. Because it got to be a reason. So I wanted to kind of fashion myself as being like, model myself after a person that I have self-described as the greatest left-wing icon of the late 20th century, and that's Tupac Shakur. That's what I wanted to be like.
Damn.
Because he talked all this thug life shit, but everybody thought he was so smart. Everybody thought he was smart. Oh no, I just lost some people. Because he wasn't as smart as people think he is.
Oh, shit. You know how many women that just love Tupac? Hey, if Detroit Red, if you watching this, I know how much you named your dog after Tupac.
I know, Red. You know that. You know no day. You know me through IG. You my dog, man. But I'm just saying, healthy debate is good. But no, just keep that in mind. Don't unfollow me if you see this shit. And so that's sort of like what, kind of like what I wanted to be.
And that's what caused you to rebel at that town hall meeting.
Because, in my mind, the system was illegitimate. Something was wrong with the system, you see. And so if the system doesn't love me, doesn't care about me, then I will not respect it, And so it wasn't something that was like pre-planned. It just happened in the moment. Because, that's, you're young.
So it wasn't premeditated. It was just in the moment.
In the moment, I was just like, nah, bro. I want to see what happened. I want to just say, fuck, because I'm in a city hall, town hall, whatever it was, city hall meeting, and this is it, bro. This is the citadel. This is the power structure. So all this fashionable, all this revolutionary chic that y'all folks out here engaged in. Black Lives Matter, fuck the. I was about that shit before it was really cool.
Damn.
And when I say I was
Like
about
when
that,
it was real consequences.
yeah,
to
when it
be
was
in that
real
way.
consequences.
Not like you get some type
Yeah.
of Nike contract
Nah.
like Kaepernick or something.
I wasn't getting no Nike contract, wasn't getting no. The only people that did circle the wagons around me that came in and was like, that a boy, were my left wing professors
Your professors at
at the
college?
college. Yeah. And then I learned later on, we might get into this, my evolution into the man that I am today.
Perfect segue.
I found out
Yeah.
that according to one of their kind of philosopher kings in particular, a man by the name of Paulo Freire, we find out, I think it was Paulo Freire, who was a Brazilian intellectual, a Brazilian Marxist intellectual, who said that not only is it the educator's job to awaken a political consciousness in the students, but the teachers themselves are to participate in this kind of political agitation.
So it's happening at the university.
Yes, that was his idea of an actual education. Right?
Indoctrination was his idea of education.
Yeah, education, because you have to, instead of, it's kind of like Orwellian, right? When you think about George Orwell in 1984,
Yeah.
in Newspeak and all these things. So the concept, the idea is that the way you sort of contextualize the world, right, are through words. And so you can control the behavior of a society by how you manipulate the language, because words are constructs and they bring with them concepts. So if you have a term like, say, revolution or struggle or oppression, okay, it's not so much about the phonics of it, the sounding it out, so you can recognize and understand what the word means. You have to sort of know what the word means in a critical sense and how it pertains to you and your situation exactly. So if you took the word oppression and made it illegal, right? Can't say it. Or revolution, take it out. Then the people will not revolt against Big Brother in 1984 because they have no concept around which to rally, because they don't even know what revolution means. They can feel it, but if you can't speak it, then you can't proclaim the world, as Paulo Freire would say.
Damn.
All right.
So okay, you said later down the line you realized that the professors were full of shit, right?
Yeah.
At what point were you still in college when you started transitioning? I think you were past college, right? You were probably late 20s when you started to wake up and be like, yo, this shit don't really make sense. When did that awakening happen?
One word, or maybe two words. But no, this person is a person. They have a brand, and you can just say one word and you know what I'm talking about, because not many people have this name, this last name, and that last name is Obama.
Wait, that was okay. So that was the
2008.
2008 is when he became president, but he had 2 terms, so it ended in 2016. So once he became president, what woke you up? What about his presidency or his tenure woke you up? Was it the first term? Was it the second term? I need details, man.
It was the second term in particular, but the first term is when I really started to hear these words in a way that made sense to me. Because mind you, bro, when you have this critical pedagogy, as it's called, or critical education, right? You don't understand the concept that is America. How can I put this? You understand it simply through the prism of oppression, for example. Even if you have to almost embellish, right? Narrative weaving, storytelling, right? And so everything is to be critiqued. Everything is to be deconstructed.
Yeah.
Because we are meant to be in a constant state of revolution. Because if we aren't in a constant state of evolution, okay, put it to you this way. What does stability bring? Stability allows for hierarchies to form. Once something becomes stable, then that allows for power to be concentrated in the hands of a few. And when power is concentrated in the hands of a few, those few have a tendency to oppress. So what we must do is assure that there is never stability. So there must be constant revolution, constant agitation. So the only thing that you learn, the purpose of an education, the purpose of knowledge is to learn of your oppression. This is why kids nowadays, especially kids in the West and in America especially, they can't read, they can't write. All native born Americans are failing. We are importing all of our, our know-how from foreign countries because native born Americans don't know how to do anything, but they just know how to complain.
Yeah, dang.
And that's what the critical pedagogy does. And so you don't learn about America in good faith. No, you just learn about how to criticize it.
Damn. Because we're taught that if society is, if it's not stable, right, then that mitigates the risk of power being concentrated amongst people who are going to oppress you and take your rights away.
Right. And even if the people who are in favor, they may not understand this, but this is what goes on, behind the scenes. The people who put these ideas into the heads of these unsuspecting people, they don't understand this. They just think that righteous indignation. They feel like, I have a right to be upset. This is the way it should be because there are greener pastures on the horizon if we could just shake things up. But what you said about Obama, I don't know if did you want me to go back to that, because like I said, during his first term is when I start to hear terms for the first time and actually understand or start to really put two and two together, as I start hearing terms
like what,
like Marxist and like communist and these things. And people were saying that, well, I remember speaking, we talked about Alex Jones, or we didn't talk about Alex Jones, I mentioned him. He put out 2 DVDs. He put out one that was called The Obama Deception. It was real popular, and you had a lot. And this is when, even like a guy like Alex Jones was considered, somewhat of a trailblazer among many who would probably consider themselves to be left wing today. But then but going back to Alex Jones, he put out another, because like I said, there were people who are pretty much considered like almost like I say, icons on the intellectual left, like Webster Tarpley and some of these other characters. Even KRS-One, the rapper, appeared in The Obama Deception. And then he came up with another documentary entitled The Fall of the Republic.
I saw The Obama Deception, yeah.
I probably wasn't that showed it to you because I still got my copy.
Yeah, I saw that.
I still got my copy. And like I said, when he came out with The Fall of the Republic, I'm like, what the fuck is a republic? I ain't know what I never heard. Never heard that term before. So you start learning about republic, or republicanism, small r, republicanism, kind of like the governing system we inherited from Athens and Rome, and you start to learn this shit, and it's just like, oh, okay. So I was starting to formulate these ideas, these theories about how to really see the government, see the world, and began to sort of fully understand. But then by the time his second term came around, and what really, really did it for me was the rise of Black Lives Matter in the wake of the killing of Michael Brown.
Man, so that was what, around 2014 or something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah, because that's basically what birthed the Black Lives Matter movement.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you a story. Not my story, it's something that happened to somebody else. There's a great conservative scholar who passed away a couple of years ago named Roger Scruton. And Roger Scruton, a lot of his work, he does a lot of work on art and culture, and you will notice a kind of central theme when it comes to all his work, and that's beauty. Right? Beauty is the epitome, is the epitome of truth, right? Because he says that there's something essential to conservatism that is extremely hard for any politician to articulate, because it's beyond just the realm of policy. In order to be a true conservative, you have to understand the role of things that are far more philosophical. And it's just hard to land that in the mind of somebody who just wants to know, well, who the hell should I vote for? I just threw his name out there for anybody. Roger Scruton, man. Roger Scruton,
okay.
British guy, phenomenal. He tells a story, and it was similar to mine. When I heard him say it, I was like, yep, that's the same thing happened to me. So in 1968, right, we know as Americans, right, that's when got all hell kind of broke loose, right? You know what I mean? After MLK was assassinated, that was it. And but that it wasn't just the United States; it was happening all over the world. The 1968 was considered like the day the world sort of revolted.
Dang.
And you probably will revolted against what? Well, this is when the left really rolled. This is when they just came out their little rat holes.
Yeah.
And people, I've been asked, like, well, what the fuck? Like, was this like the breaking point because of all of this oppression that was going on in the United States, for example? No, that's a misnomer. What led to this explosion in radical sentiment in the United States was the increase in college enrollment after World War II.
What? Damn, back to the universities.
It's the mind, bruh. Before 1968, particularly in Detroit, the average black median income was higher than the national average for whites. Home ownership amongst blacks in the city of Detroit was higher than the national average amongst whites. I'm just talking about Detroit now.
Talking about Detroit, yeah.
Well, this was this response. This was people lashing out because of Jim Crow and segregation and everything else. No, because the deadliest riots took places in cities where there were no Jim Crow laws. Like Chicago, like Detroit, like Newark, Oakland, Philadelphia, these other places. And so, but you had all this going on in 68. So at the time, Scruton was in college in France. In France, it was bad in France. Probably as bad as it was here, maybe worse. And Roger Scruton said he saw the students. Mind you, same thing here in the United States. All the radicals, that shit came from the student bodies across the American university archipelago. This was there. And these radical left-wing ideas began to filter down to the street. It began to filter down to the community. Right? It's kind of like, so think about me in my case, when I'm telling you I am a young man trying to find my way in the world, right? I'm scared, I'm nervous, I'm insecure. All young people, we're all insecure because all we see is success, but we don't have the foggiest idea how to earn it, how to get it. We got to make it through college, we got to do all this stuff. And so we're nervous, we shook. So here you have an entire slew of people telling you, come on over here, because I'm going to tell you and show you why. Yeah, you may want those things, but it's going to be extremely hard to get it because of this systematic, this institution, that is, and you believe that.
Golly.
You believe that, right?
Because and you start to think that's the enemy.
Well, because they have given you the excuse not to even try to play the game because you already intimidated by the game in the first place. You don't even want to get in the ring
because you think it's rigged.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're just looking for something to cling to because you don't have anything to call your own, meaning that you haven't accomplished anything in this life yet. And then when people are telling you things that make you feel good, that make you feel exclusive, that makes you feel like a champion, it's easy to believe that because when you're a young person, you're so by default, just to kind of the progression of the maturation process, right? You're naturally more egotistical, more narcissistic, not willing to self-efface and sacrifice. And so all you're thinking about as a young person is, I want to make my impression on the world. I want to leave my mark. But what does Jordan Peterson say? Motherfucker, make your bed. You want to make your impression on the world, but you don't know how to make a bed.
Y'all hear that? Make your own damn bed up. Keep going, man. Keep going.
Tupac Shakur said it. I might not be the person that's going to change the world, but I'm going to spark the brain that's going to change the world. Tupac died when he was how old?
What, like
24?
24?
When does the human brain stop developing?
You tell me.
Like 25. 24, 25. What? Yeah.
Shit.
So what the fuck does, in Tupac, during the prime of his acting and music career, what? He was what? Between the ages of 19, 20, and 24?
Yeah.
The fuck was a 20-year-old going to teach anybody? Nothing.
Yeah.
But this is the egotism of the youth, the narcissism of the youth.
Yeah.
We think we're something that we're not.
Yeah.
But we are too stupid to know that we're not because we haven't lived long enough yet.
God damn. And then I guess I have to give certain people like Dr. Martin Luther King and even Malcolm X, those are the two people that most black people reference with respect.
And they were young.
They were young. They were not even 40.
That's
but
right.
they even showed signs of being able to evolve with the times, as opposed to people like Sharpton who sort of still act as if we're still living in 1968 or something like that.
Yep, it's profitable for them. But we probably get off in the guys like him, but going back to what I was saying about Scruton, I didn't lose my point.
Yeah.
I just like to throw other stuff in there while
Yeah,
I'm
because you
thinking
about
about
to tie it all together.
Yeah, because like I said, back when all the riots and stuff was happening, you know, these ideas were starting to trickle down to the ghettos and to the street gangs, you know, and then you find the Black Panther Party and all these other groups began to spring up because they were taking these ideas from these universities. And there was kind of like a symbiosis between and it's crazy because people talk about, you know, how the white liberal did X, Y, and Z. A lot of these talking points that a lot of these black nationalists, black separatists, black radical movements and groups, they were getting this information, and they had a lot of connections with a lot of white academics and white intellectuals, you know. So
Damn.
yeah, and that was the point because they said it themselves. Herbert Marcuse, another influential figure in the neo-Marxist movement, said it that we need to capture and utilize the energy of the ghetto people.
Yeah.
Because we can make another famous quote. I ain't lost you now. Another famous quote. Vladimir Lenin, who was the head of the Soviet Union, right?
Not Putin.
Not Putin. Vladimir Lenin. Vladimir Lenin, you know, and he like he said, he studied law. He was a great speaker, great writer, like most dictators are, right? These demagogues are very charismatic. They're very well spoken, very intelligent,
be
crafty,
able to win over people,
right?
Like that, yeah.
Easy, you know, very manipulative. I heard it said that someone once asked Vladimir Lenin why he hung with the dregs of society, because he hung around a bunch of low-life motherfuckers. And I think, yeah, it was Vladimir Lenin. I'm almost certain. And Vladimir Lenin is believed to have said that, well, that's simple, because I can make a revolution with them. You see, the people in the ivory tower, you know, some of them may get down in the street and muck around, but all the talking heads on CNN and MSNBC and this, that, and the third, they not going to be running around Kenosha, Wisconsin. They not doing that. They going to send you out there, but they going to talk a lot, but they going to send you out there.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's what they did back then. But Roger Scruton was sitting around, man, and he was looking. He was in France studying at the time. He was going to
So you. I'm sorry to
No, go
interject
ahead.
you. So you can't. These people pose, or they make their intentions. It's almost as if they're trying to sell this idea that they're trying to help impoverished people, but yet they still need them to be impoverished in order to carry forth their agenda. So it's counterproductive. You're not. Yeah, I got you.
Because the people that aren't in that situation, man, they ain't got the internet.
They ain't working. They making money.
They ain't hear what the fuck you talking about.
Right.
And with you know, if you're doing that, then you're just feeding the system of blah blah blah.
Gotcha.
You know?
Gotcha.
And so so Scruton is sitting back, and he said he's seeing all this going on. Student activists, and they're destroying things, hurling things at police, and just cutting up. And he said at that moment he had an epiphany. Mind you, the same thing happened to me. He said, and at the time, mind you, Roger Scruton, one of the greatest conservative minds in recent history ever, but in recent history for sure. Scruton said, you know, with that British accent, sounding so sophisticated, he said, man, at that moment, he said he didn't even know what conservatism was. But he said to himself, damn, I don't know. This is a quote now. He said, I don't know what I believe, but whatever it is not what they believe. I don't know what I believe, but I'm not like them.
Yeah.
And, you know, I swear to God, same exact story. I said to myself, y'all out here going on and on and on about police and this and this and that. Don't you realize, like when I went live stream, when I did the joint live stream with Layla of Propaganda Fluent recently, and I had the guy.
Shout out to Layla.
Like I had the guy in the comment section trying to challenge me, trying to make the connection between morality and law. Well, yet there is a dialectic that exists between morality and law. There's a contradiction there, or kind of a Hegelian symbiosis there. But what people don't realize is that when morality goes down, law goes there. You see, laws aren't created to help deal, so to speak, with a moral people. The more immoral you behave, the more intense the presence of the state. If you want the state out of your, affairs, if you want the police to go away, then you have to be governable. You have to be moral. You have to restrain and constrict your passions. You don't get.
So when morality goes down, government overreach
goes up. So if you want the police out of the community to stop killing us and doing all this shit y'all claim police are
Clean up
doing,
your behavior.
You cannot behave like that in reaction to something that you believe is unjust.
Yeah.
You're only going to incur the force of the law because you are displaying the tendency of a people who are, quite frankly, out of control.
You just made a good point, though. But then I remember when you talked about the town hall thing and you said, well, what kept you on the right track? Because obviously you were fighting with yourself, right? And you said that my parents cared more about what was going on with me than I cared about myself, pretty much, right? So I'll take it back to the parents. The parents seem to be the most important chance that a kid has at success at life. And if they don't have that, then by the time they get out into the world, in the hood, or at the universities, it's a wrap, pretty much.
Yeah, it's a wrap, bro. Because at that time, man, you don't have nothing to lose. Well, you don't have anything to lose because you don't have anything. Most people say, well, I ain't got nothing to lose. I'm just going. But, having accomplishment, having achievements, having family and people that depend upon you for, not just family that love you and take care of you. I'm talking about people who depend on you.
Yeah.
Like your children and like, your spouse or whatever, you don't have those things and it's so far away. Right. And most of us, man, especially for men, with our maturity curve happening a lot later, a lot of us, man, we don't get our lives together until we 30, 35.
That's real. Yeah.
And when you graduate from high school, it might be a good 10, 15 years of toil and struggle. And you get to the point where you like, man, I don't even give a fuck. That shit ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then when you got these shark, these silver tongue, these foxes, these devils telling you all this bullshit, you know what I mean? In places, and this shit is coming from respectable places.
Yeah.
Whether it's an educator, whether it's a media talking head, or an actor, a ball player, LeBron James, motherfucking. You pick the influential person. All these rappers, these just complete and just
who
fools.
just kind of spew rhetoric that doesn't align with their own experience. Yeah,
exactly.
Because like Michelle Obama saying that she fears her daughters, running into
foolishness,
a bad cop, and I think LeBron James even said the same thing. We scared. Yeah, I get you.
Michelle Obama says that racism is so prevalent in our country because a white woman cut in front of her at a Dairy Queen. I'm not making this up. She literally said that. Now, if I'm sitting there, I'm saying to myself, well, damn, man, she was the first lady of the president, to the president of the United States. Come on now. Come on, man. Damn, man. If she complaining, she also told a story about how, white people don't want black people to go to museums.
Yeah.
Literally, like, well, damn, if I go to a museum tomorrow, am I not going to, they're not going to let me in?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. It's crazy. So
why is this coming from this woman?
Yeah.
So if I'm young, I'm susceptible in my mind. I'm like, oh yeah. And another one, when she went to a Target, and she wasn't, I guess, recognized, and a white lady had the audacity to ask her if she would mind getting a big gallon bucket, a bottle of Tide off the bottom shelf and putting it in the lady's cart, because I guess she couldn't. Maybe she was a little older. I don't know. But yeah, how dare this woman ask me to help her put some shit in her cart?
Oh, this is like slavery. What she think I'm the help?
Exactly.
She think I'm Viola Davis? Exactly. Octavia Spencer?
Exactly. Yep.
So let me ask you this, man.
You get to the point where you don't give a fuck. They don't love us. They don't care about us, I guess, because yeah, man, you just maybe kind of remember when the Tupac, I'm Detroit Red. I'm sorry, I'm gonna get on your boy again. remember what Tupac said when one of his most famous moments. Where was he? This was in 1993 when he took to the stage. Mm-hmm. In this big, emotional, feminine outburst, talking about how he don't care what you do, how much money you make, what you do for a living, doctor, lawyer, whatever. It don't matter. You still a nigga. You still, all these motherfuckers, that's all they gonna ever see you as. You just a nigga.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you got these successful black, these people are influential in society. They're making decisions. They're determining the fate of the country in many respects. And that's what they believe. I know motherfuckers personally who shit. All this, let me say this real quick, bro. Don't forget what you was finna say, because this the shit that really bugs me. Cause
go off, Charles.
Remember when I told you, bro, that back in the day I was alone on that island. Motherfuckers thought something was wrong with me.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting back and I'm sitting there, y'all niggas some suckers. Y'all ain't even, because I'm studious with this shit. I am a dedicated radical, bro. I'm not just some nigga out here talking.
No. You doing this.
I'm doing,
And you in college and you got a baby. You taking care of all of it.
I'm learning, bro. I'm reading, I'm studying. You know what I mean? Like
putting your freedom on the line.
Putting my freedom on the line. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, fuck your country and fuck your flag.
Yeah.
I'm not showing no respect to this. They talking about locking me up for 6 years.
Damn.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, all alone out there on that island. Motherfuckers making fun of me. Okay, cool. Now you fast. Now, I sat back and watched a lot of my high school friends in college. They got good grades. A's and B, went off to college, did all this stuff. Amazing. Then went and got, now go and look at their social media profiles. They social media activists. Posting all these bullshit memes, showing photographs of Colin Kaepernick and how they support him and this and the third. And I'm saying to myself, oh, so you a revolutionary now. Nigga, you a motherfucking judge.
I know who you talking about too, but yeah.
I mean, and like I say, some of these people, like I say, man, I see them in the street. They ain't got to speak to me if they don't want to. Ain't no, but I don't have no hard. I'm just saying, this is the truth. I mean, we here to keep it, this TinBridge. We here to keep it 100, right?
Yeah. And I mean, you would think that a judge is supposed to be, objective.
A black one.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah.
That's the thing. That's what's killing me.
Yeah.
I'm sitting back and I'm telling myself, bro, I almost sabotaged my whole life because I was believing in this heresy, this bullshit ideology. I'm believing in this shit. And I'm just like, man, I'm just waiting for everybody to catch up with me. And now all of a sudden, because you feeling some type of survivor's guilt or some shit going on, all of a sudden you want to project all this bullshit.
That's what
when
it
I know
is.
good goddamn well, I saw you. You are the living embodiment of the American dream. I saw it in progress, motherfucker, because I know you.
Absolutely. And then you want to sell all of these other people who ain't in the position you in this bullshit that you know ain't going to help them.
Exactly. Ain't going to help them.
Because you don't want to tell them what helped you.
Exactly.
And that don't involve race.
And that don't involve race at all.
Okay, so so I'm gonna say this, right? Because I know once you had this awakening, and
yeah, bro, I just said, you know what, man, because I couldn't act like that.
Yeah.
I couldn't act like that because considering the fact that I was a studious person, I felt like, man, if this is what's good for society, if this is what's good for the world, then I am going to win the battle of ideas, and that's a conservative value. It's an American value. Because democracy hinges upon the ability to engage in open dialogue. Free speech is essential. You can't have a democracy
without free speech.
And so we have to be able to talk about this. So just me getting violent with you, and I never felt like that was the way. Never felt like rioting and going all, even if I felt, like Dr. Martin Luther King once said about riots, right? Riots are the language of the oppressed, or whatever famous quote Martin Luther King said that a lot of leftists like to quote. Because they say, oh, Dr. King wasn't as passive as y'all thought he was. He supported stuff like riots. But I knew, I'm like, man, I don't give a fuck. Even if I sympathize, even if I feel like you got a point, I can't condone that kind of behavior, bro.
Yeah.
So
okay. Damn. I just feel like I should have paid you for coming on this damn whatever this is we having podcasts and lighting it up with all of this information, all of these gems. You said Scruton, right? Roger Scruton.
Roger Scruton.
British guy. Okay, I'm gonna look him up. So let me ask you this, and this is what we can probably wrap up and close on, because y'all gonna be seeing a whole lot more of Chuck. This is just the first of many, and I wanted to just introduce him. You know what I'm saying? And show how he got from thinking like most black people think today to how he thinks now, which is, an independent thinker, somebody who prioritizes individuality over the collective. Now, you're at this point in life where, man, successful, great at your job, and then you said, fuck it, I'm gonna go ahead and get another side job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just working. Yeah.
You just working, man, right?
Typical,
Not
man.
because he has to, but because that's ingrained in him.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you got young boy that you had with your beautiful wife, Michelle, and I met her. She's phenomenal. And then she had 2 daughters, you know, already prior to y'all meeting and getting married that you basically consider to be your own.
Right.
Do you think the whole transition to conservatism, without that happening, would you be this person today who has 2 jobs, who has this beautiful wife that you...
Damn, that's a good
You know what I'm
question.
saying? Like
Yeah.
that had to be a part of that.
Yeah, man. Probably.
Because I know how you treat her, because I can see how hard she goes for you every single day, bro.
Right. Yeah, man. Probably not, bro. I mean, you know what? Man, it's all just kind of one like thing that all just kind of went together, bro. I can't really explain it. I think what really like prepared me, man, for where I am right now is and this is like kind of like off the topic of politics a little bit, but kind of maybe in the same realm, because it's all, you know, all kind of all encompassing, but just the numerous failures I've had, bro, in relationships, and trying to play the role of a man before I actually became one, you know?
Damn.
Yeah.
Trying to play the role of a man before you actually became one. Because you can only become one when you're able to go through that journey. It ain't like you can just wake up and say, I'm a man. You got to go through that thing. Kind of like Neo, right?
Yep. You got it.
I can't tell you you the one. You got to...
There's 4 things I heard. I always like to cite and give hat tips to people who say things that I remember or that have an impact on me. Gavin McGinnis. Gavin McGinnis is, he's considered the founder of the Proud Boys, right? I guess he doesn't have any affiliation with them anymore or whatever. But yeah, Gavin McGinnis, he started out as a comedian, kind of, but anyway, long story short, he's like a conservative firebrand, right? He used to have a big social media presence. He kind of faded back a little bit, but he's still around. White guy, I think he's from Canada. And I heard him say something one time. He said a man has to go through 4 things. He says you have to break a girl's heart. You have to have your heart broken. You have to win a fight with a man, a physical fight, and you gotta take one ass whooping. Those 4 things, you know.
Yeah,
like I say, and he's a comedian, so you know it's kind of levity, bring a little levity to what he's saying.
Break a girl heart, have your heart broken by a girl, win a fight, and get your ass whipped.
Yep, and lose a fight. Yeah, and it's crazy because I thought about it. I said, damn. When I think about every 4 of those things that happened in my life before, it's like, yeah, I've actually went through all 4, and I can actually say, looking back on it, like they kind of had a positive effect
moments,
on me.
man. Yeah.
You know, man, because but just on the strength of going back to just talking about being married and sacrificing, working hard for my kids, and just with all the stuff that, you know, I was going through in my past, man. I mean, shit, bro, it's tough, man. You know, because you got to really decide, bro. You got to make a decision. Like, this is the kind of man I want to be, and I'm gonna tell you something, bro. Like I said, this TinBridge, we gonna put it on the table. I know you said we about to wrap, but I'm gonna say something else too, man. That may even open up a can of worms, and maybe we can revisit this on another time. But you know, damn, and that was deep, because you said kind of transition and becoming conservative. Does that determine how I am as a husband, as a father? And it does. Why? Because my attitudes, bro, about life has changed. When I say life, I don't mean like life. Like, I'm talking about literal life. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about life. I'm talking about the unborn. I'm talking about children. I can't be a co-conspirator to the murder of any more unborn children, bro. I can't do that no more. And I'm just being honest. I'm being upfront and real. That's a major thing, because that's what the institution of marriage is supposed to help and assist with. It serves a lot of purposes, right? Because the relationship between man and woman is supposed to mirror the relationship between Christ and the church, right? And that's why, the man has headship over the female. But that, you know, we talked about that earlier. Another one of the reasons. But like I said, man, your sexual morality is packaged kind of like within this framework, this concept of kind of like of Christian marriage, right? Monogamy, all these things we may get into another time. And so, you know, just that thing, but that's, I can't do that. You know, I can't be running around getting into all this kind of trouble. You know what I'm saying? Trying to sow my wild oats. I can't do that shit no more, man, because I can't be a party to that genocide no more, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because
you know that the best shot a kid has at growing up to become a productive member of society who does more good to society than harm. And you can do more harm, obviously, if you're indoctrinated with counterproductive ideology. Yeah. But the best shot you give a child at having or growing up to be a productive member is by having both parents in the household. It's the institution of family.
And it's a cycle. It's a self-perpetuating cycle, because the fact that I wasn't properly supervised because I didn't have both parents, it allowed me to get into things that I shouldn't have been getting into at that age, which was sexual material. And when you get exposed to sexual material at an age that you aren't mature and ready and old enough to handle it, then all of a sudden, you know, you find yourself in situations that, you know, you shouldn't be in, because now all of a sudden you done got exposed to something that you don't know how to handle. Because sex ain't shit to play with. It ain't nothing to fuck around with. Like I said, bro, you know what I mean? I'm gonna be, like I say, 100% transparent, like honest with you. This is why I kind of go back and forth with, like, internally with conflict in my head, because when I hear these stories about all these unborn kids, illegitimate kids, and these babies, and you know, we hear about men with 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 kids, about 5, 6 different women, and then my initial reaction is to be like, man, this motherfucker, what's wrong with you? You know, you want to get at him, but I'm saying to myself, damn. Because a homeboy of mine, I ain't gonna say his name, but I know exactly who he is. I might tell you off camera. You somebody you know. We'd sit back and we'd be, you know, locker room talk, shooting the shit back when we was young. And he had a joke, but he was serious. And I said, nigga, you right. He said, man, bro, I apologize. There's a lovely young lady behind the camera. This is locker room talk, you know, so we gonna get into some grabbing by the pussy stuff going on right now. But no, he said,
Chuck about to get me canceled before I start.
Before you start. He said, man, but here's the thing though. Listen to these left-wing women. Look at where they are today. Because he said, man, what you gotta do is, nigga. He said, bro, you get to know what the chick attitude about abortion is before you even fuck her. I
heard this before.
If she willing to have an abortion, you know you can fuck.
Yeah, and you know you ain't even gotta you raw. You just shoot the club up.
Yep, just shoot the club up, bro.
God,
she gonna abort that bitch anyway. So but in this ways you get to know, you can find out without just coming out and asking. So that way.
So what would you do?
What would you do? You know, make sure
like watching something on TV. Yeah, would you do that if you
make sure the coast is clear?
Shit.
So on the one hand, mind you, man, ain't God brilliant, bro? Because like I say, no man is worthy of the kingdom of heaven. Salvation is a gift out of the love for your creator, because he wants to forgive you, even though you don't deserve it. So I can look at, mind you, it's to keep everybody humble, because at the end of the day, boy, we all have a sinful nature. Because even though that motherfucker running around with 7, 8, 9 kids that he ain't helping, that he can't possibly take care of, because to adequately take care of him. I mean, he ain't got that kind of money. He just an average dude. You got rich motherfuckers that you have 7, 8, 9 kids. That's child support fucking around bankrupt, but nigga, if he ain't got it, if he ain't, you know, a millionaire, billionaire.
Yeah.
But mind you, I'm looking at him and I'm saying, this nigga, this old low life motherfucker. But then I think about myself and I say, well, damn, nigga, how many kids should you have if you didn't kill them?
All right. Damn. Hey, y'all, let's teach them Chuck, man.
You know what I mean?
This teach them Chuck, man.
Like I said, I don't back away. I don't shy away from nothing, because you can call me a motherfucking hypocrite because you're not listening, bro. You're not really hearing what the fuck it is that I'm saying, bro. If I come out and I say, fuck all that, no, nigga. You want to call it pro-life, pro-choice, nigga? Yeah, I'm pro-life. But damn, sure, ain't you this and that? Yep, I'm that same motherfucker.
Yeah, because you can evolve, but you're basically showing that listen, I'm not above anybody. I'm just
No,
as fallible as anybody else. I'm not in a
else.
position to condemn anybody.
That's right. I can tell you what it say. I
Yeah.
can tell you what that word say. And I'm not, I'm not even a preachy kind of guy like that. But I'm just saying, when we talking about politics or political social philosophy, you got to talk about that, because that's where our system comes from.
Yeah.
It comes from that book, comes
Yeah.
from that word. You got to understand that. So now that I'm in the position to where it's like, okay, man, I got a family to look after. I got a wife that's depending on me. I ain't no way in hell. Because now that I'm in the position where I've accepted God into my life, you're always going to make mistakes. But like they say, God know your heart, because you're supposed to actively work against sin, because sin isn't just something that's not going to allow you to enter through the gates of heaven. Sin is something that's going to fuck up your earthly life. It ain't just about this. It's relevant here and now. You know what I mean?
All right, listen, y'all. This is part 1 of many. God dang. I mean, yo, man, I appreciate you for coming through, man. And is it any last words you want to say, or where do people find you on social media, man?
Man, I just got that one IG page, bro. Just got the one IG page. Teach him Chuck. You'll find me. I think I'm the only one. Shout out to my boy Rick, man. He gave me that name. He said, man, you gonna
Shout
start
out
this,
to Rick, man.
Yeah, he said you gonna be on it. You gonna start this Instagram page, and you gonna be Teach him Chuck. That's gonna be your name. I said, all right, bro.
Shout
whatever
out to
you
Rick.
say.
That was genius, man.
Whatever you say.
Rick gonna come back to you for a check like Benny Siegel did Kanye. You know what I'm saying? Because I think Benny Siegel came up with the yay.
Yeah.
And then anyway, Ye was on Drink Champs like, I'm trying to find Benny Siegel to give him a check. But either way it go, man, shout out to Rick for that.
Paid him, dog.
I thought just like you gonna pay Darren. Oh, you gonna pay up. So no, man. But thank you so much, bro. This is part 1 of many, and we gonna do it again real soon, y'all. Teach 'em Chuck.
Peace.